Hello, welcome or welcome back. Are you in one of those couples where you have one main wage earner, usually the husband, not exclusively, and then the partner is kind of like the free wingman and they're doing all of the administration? They are managing the calendar, they are producing all of the quotes, all of the invoices, they're keeping the accounts, they are maybe doing some of the marketing, and they're not getting paid for it at all. Now, of course, who says no pay also says no pension. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly why you should pay your partner, how you can pay your partner, and how much you should pay your partner. But if you haven't been here before, my name is Lisa. I trained and worked in French accounting before I realized that I could provide a lot more value to my clients as an independent consultant, which is what I do now. My contacts are in the description if you would like some more personalized advice. But this channel exists so we can address all of your most common questions about French business structure, tax regimes, social charges, and more. Now, do you remember at school they always used to say to us, don't tell me, show me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do our comparison with three scenarios. We've got the first one where you as the entrepreneur individuel or as any kind of société, you could be a SAL or an EARL or whatever you want, but you keep the whole of the profit for yourself and you don't pay your partner. In the second instance, your partner is going to invoice you as a micro and you as the business owner are going to pay their invoices. And in the third instance, you are paying your partner a salary and you actually have them as an employee of the business. There's obviously no mention of running this as a micro because as a micro you can't pay, well you can pay people, but there's absolutely no point in paying people, right? It doesn't work out for you at all. But once we've done this, then we will compare it to how this works out for a micro because it wouldn't be fair if we didn't. We're doing this using an example of 30,000 euros as a gross profit. It's a kind of modest, fairly common benchmark for many small businesses. I know a lot of you are earning twice that much as well. I know you are because I speak to you all the time. So we're going to look at larger figures later as well, but we're starting off with 30 and we are distributing it at 100%. So bear in mind, as an entreprise individuelle, you have no option about this. You have to distribute it at 100%. Whatever your profit is considered as your personal income. As a limited company, you have more options. If you don't want to draw all that money, then you don't have to. You can leave some in the business if you want to. You can do other things with it if you want to. But as an entreprise individuelle, you have to. And so we're going to say that this is what's happening for everybody just because that way our comparison is fair. So here we go. This is what happens. We have assumed that your partner wants to walk out with 500 euros net each month. So if they are invoicing you as a micro, that means they're invoicing you as a profession libérale. At the moment, they have 23% social charges. And that means that they have to invoice you 650 euros to be able to walk out with 500. As of 2025, their social charges are going to go up and they'll have to invoice you 667 euros to be able to walk out with 500. If you were to salary your partner, then for them to walk out with a net of 500 euros a month, that would cost you as an employer 701 euros. Okay, let's see how that works out on a yearly basis. There's nothing in these boxes at the moment because as the entrepreneur, you're probably not allocating yourself a monthly salary, right? You just have what works out as your profit at the end of the year. So annually, here we go. There's your 30 there. And your partner has invoiced you 650 12 times, which gives you a total of 7,800, or later on they'll be invoicing you this 12 times, which gives you this total here. And because this amount is 100% deductible for you as a professional expense, that means that you, as the entrepreneur, you no longer have 30,000 euros. You have 30,000 euros minus this amount. So that gives you in the first instance 22,200 or later on 21,996. And if you are employing your partner, then you've paid them 701 euros 12 times over, total of 8,412. Deduct that from 30,000 and you are left with 21,588. But as we know, you don't get to keep all of that because you have to pay cotisation. So let's see how much they work out at. Here we go. If you keep it all for yourself, then you will be paying a total of €8,947 in social charges, always just under 30% of the gross. If you've been paying your partner as a micro, then they're going to have 1,800 of social charges to be able to walk out with 6,000 a year, or at a later date 2004, and you, on this amount that you have here in gross, you're going to be paying this much in social charges, 6,469 to start with, 6,411 at a later date. And to work out the total in social charges, to work out what's going to fall into your common pot at the end of the year, we have to add those two amounts up. So 1,800 for your partner, 6,469 for you, gives you 8,269 at the moment, or as of 2025, 1,956 plus 6,411 is going to give you 8,367 as a total. And if you were to salary your partner, well, then their social charges would cost you as an employer €2,407, and you would be paying this much on your gross. So add 6,241 is going to give you 8,648. So slightly more expensive than if you pay your partner as a micro, but both cheaper than if you keep it all yourself. So I hope that's clear. Let's look at what it gives us net. Here's our annual net. If I deduct this from this, then I'm left with €21,053, and here just over 21,700 at the moment, just over 21,600 later on, and here 21,352. So slightly less than if we do it this way, but both of them leave you better off than if you keep all the money yourself. Let's see how much better off. There we go. So if you were to pay your partner as a micro, nearly €700 better off, or €600 better off later on. And if you were to salary your partner, €300 better off than if you don't pay them at all. So maybe you think that these figures are small, but if somebody offered me €700, then I would want it. So that's the first advantage, obviously. But the second advantage is that I haven't chosen these figures for no good reason. The reason why I chose €500 net a month is because within that salary is just enough for your partner to validate 4 quarters every single year for the pension contributions. So in doing that, you've not only saved yourself money, but you've also gained yourself money for a later date. Now, if you are a micro, then that's not quite going to cover all 4 trimesters. But if you are a micro, remember, you can't have only one client. You have other clients, so presumably other revenue, which is also coming in to top that up. In either of these case scenarios, then you should have validated all 4 pension trimesters for your partner as well as for yourself. Now, as I said, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't compare this to a micro. I'm not going to lie to you. If you are a micro, then you'll pay less in cotisation. You will come out with a higher net. This is how much higher it is. However, first of all, remember that as a micro, you don't get to deduct any expenses, and you're not going to tell me that you don't have at least €2,000 worth of expenses each year, because I don't believe you. Second of all, obviously, if you carry on doing this, then your partner has no pension validated at all, and you personally are not putting away all that much, because although you're declaring a turnover of 30,000, remember the tax office applies that 50% tax abatement, which means that only 15,000 of it counts. So one of you is not contributing anything, and the other of you is not contributing very much. And if you're doing this, then you might want to have a think about, is this really the way you want to carry on? Or do you want to start thinking about your pension a bit more seriously? Now, I'm going to show you, you can scale this up and it's going to work out even better for you. Here we have €60,000. So I've doubled that. I have also doubled your partner's net, because if you've doubled your income, then we can presume that they are putting in more work as well. So that deserves a rise, I think. And we won't go through all the calculations again, but what you can see is that you are still significantly better off. If you're paying them as a micro, 1,600 better off, 1,400 better off. If you're salarying them, over 1,200 better off. I'd say that's worth it. And what I'd also say is that if you can make 60,000 euros worth of gross profit, then you can do better than distributing 100% of that as salary. You would like more options as to how you distribute your money. Now, as an entreprise individuelle, as we said, you don't get those options. Whether you spend it, whether you need it, whether you want it, it's all going to be subject to social charges. Whereas if you have a limited company, then you have the option of maybe leaving some money in the company. Even if you pay corporation tax, it's still going to be cheaper than paying social charges. Maybe you would like to award yourself a bonus. You can do that if you also award your wife a bonus or your husband. To be able to award them a bonus, you need to have them as an employee and not as a subcontractor. So there you need to look at the salary option. But that bonus can be completely free of social charges. So if you could award 10,000 euros worth of bonus with no social charges attached whatsoever, then that's a pretty cool thing for you to be able to do. You can also contribute to company savings plans. You can also contribute to company pension plans, all of which can be super advantageous for you. So if you'd like to know more about that, please feel free to get in touch with me. I would love to help you out with it. And if this has been helpful to you, then I'd love it if you subscribed, and I'll see you again soon.